Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah with Sirens Books.
And I'm Veronica.
And this is Bestie Book Chat. And today we're talking about
Queen of Shadows.
Queen of Shadows!
Yay!
Which is the 5th book in the Throne of Glass series for Sarah J. Maas.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just got back from a trip from London.
She did. She left me.
I went to the UK, but I did bring you back some presents
Yay.
that I thought you would like. So the first one's actually not from the UK. This one I got from Universal.
Yay! It's a Hufflepuff pin. I need it. I'll put it on my backpack.
And then I got you a magnet from Pemberley.
That's so cute. Look at the little lions. Or dogs.
So are you a fan of like the 2005 Pride and Prejudice, or like not like a historical?
I have not read it, but I feel like you're gonna make me.
It's not,
because that's like your favorite book, isn't it?
So
like
Pride and Prejudice is like the book that I feel like probably got me back into reading like outside of like Harry Potter kind of thing.
Yeah, because you're a Pride
but like the
Prejudice.
movie is what did it for me though. Like the 2005 movie, because like I've watched
with Keira Knightley.
With Keira Knightley.
I haven't seen it.
And let me tell you, it was the score, and it was the
score, the music,
mm-hmm. and the cinematography, like all the imagery, which was just so beautiful.
This
and
is adorbs. I like
okay,
it.
and then this
it's a wine cup.
This is very specific
to me.
I got this in London. I saw it and I was like, there's no reason why Veronica shouldn't have this. And then Steven was like, this is badass. So
so it's Steven approved.
It's Steven approved.
Let's see. Oh, it's a bag. Okay. It's a garbage. Oh, I need it. Oh, I'm gonna be fancy. I'm gonna put it in my classroom and drink in front of my students this way.
It's Hogwarts chalice. So fancy.
This is cute, and it's like very detailed. Look at the beaver.
It's like I was debating because like you don't drink wine, but I was like, we're gonna call it a chalice, and she's gonna drink juice out of it. And
I will put apple juice in here. This is cute. I love this.
Okay, so
Queen of Shadows.
Queen of Shadows. So when we left our friends at the end of Hairfire, which is the last video that we talked on.
Yes.
So that we have Aeon, who is
captured.
Dorian, who is enslaved.
With the collar thing, yeah.
Chaol, who is on the run and
being
hiding
a
in
dick.
Rifthold.
Okay, being rude.
Aelin, who's on her way back to Rifthold to
do everything, and Rowan can't go with her, and
so
he's not used to not having his powers.
Yeah. So for his own protection, he stayed behind, and then
Lysandra adopted a child. Do we know that yet?
No,
we don't know that yet.
So okay. So and then Manon has gone to Morath.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I love Manon.
Manon. I love her. Too.
I love her.
She's my all-time favorite.
So I will say with this book, because I'm reading them first time through, I will say this book first half kind of slow.
Really?
I felt it was there's a lot of character building and world building, but I felt like the last half is like action.
Oh yeah, like it's definitely like a snowball effect, but I feel like at the beginning
it set everything up though really well.
Right, but like whenever when we first get back into it, Aelin is back in Rifthold, and she's confronting Erebin. Yeah. Immediately, like that's the start.
Yeah, there's a lot of good back and forth with everybody.
I
cannot stand Chaol.
Yes,
I cannot stand him.
Like even
he's such an arrogant piece. Like I'm sorry, like are we doing spoiler alert?
I think the whole thing is a spoiler. So frustrating and angry, and I didn't really feel.
And
like
he doesn't get a chance to be angry. Why are you mad?
Right. I didn't think that his anger was validated.
No, like
his whole thing was
go
just
away.
like trying to protect Dorian, and somehow like he felt like by being involved with Selena / Aelin that he was betraying his duty or something.
Yeah, and it's like you don't have no more duty.
Right, like he left his post.
Yeah, like
he left the person that he like swore to protect, who was
and he didn't even
definitely
protect him.
Damaged.
Yeah, and he didn't even protect him. He was just like, "I'm gonna walk out."
Like ran off, and then like refused to share information with Aelin.
Yeah.
Like,
but she also did too. Like all her little sneaky moves and stuff. I was like, rewrite that will.
I know, but
do
like
this.
I also feel like she was doing that for a larger end game, whereas
he's just being selfish. Yeah, he was a jerk. Total jerk. Can't stand him. But I will say, like, I was pissed that Rowan wasn't there for, like, the first, like, I don't know, 200 pages.
Like,
and then she's like, I got a whiff. And I was like, get that whiff, girl, because he's there. And he was there. And I was just like, yes. She smelled him.
Yeah.
It's like, thank freaking God. Because she was miserable without him.
I don't know that she was miserable, but she definitely was, like, missing him.
She was miserable. In my mind, she was miserable. She needed him. And he wasn't there. And I was like, oh, but then he was. I was like, yes. But I will say I'm glad she has a female friend. Lysandra's there being her bestie.
So I don't know if you picked up on this, and I don't know that it was like said outright, but in Heir of Fire, we actually see Lysandra again, and she makes a very small cameo, and it's like they don't actually do character, like there's not like a name exchange, but it's literally like him and Chaol are in the tavern, and one of the ladies there who's beautiful with green eyes talks to them.
I thought that was her, but I didn't know it was her.
Yeah, it was so brief, but it was like that.
But I love Lysandra now. Like, I always liked her because she was feisty, but knowing her backstory and then now how she is now.
Yeah.
Did you see her being a shapeshifter? I didn't know she was going to be a shifter.
No, when I read it the first time, no. And honestly, it took me a long time to warm up to her because, like, I was always very distrustful of her. Even, like, given her and Aelin, like, kind of bonding and becoming a part of the court and everything, I was always, like, on the fence with her.
Yeah, I thought
a very long
I was
time.
too because at first I liked her, but I was like, oh, this is not a good because this girl cannot have female friends. Every girlfriend she has, like, something bad happens.
Right.
But then I was like, oh, maybe not. So far, it's not. Because I don't know what's going to happen in the rest of the book. You do, but I don't. But so far, their friendship is good. And I'm like, good for her. I'm like, good for her. She finally has a girlfriend. With a little friend. Because she like adopted that little girl.
When, you know, like, she was forced to adopt her because she, like, cut her face and kept her from being able to be sold.
Yeah. Good for her. So, I like her a lot. And that's, like, my new... Like, I honestly, in this book, like, there's so many side characters that you really learn about. Like, I forget that Aelin's the main girl sometimes. Yeah. Because you worry about, like, I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen with Manon and Dorian because they obviously like each other.
Oh my God.
I was like, because they obviously like each other. I'm like, and then I like the little girl, too. What's her name? Elide? I like her a lot. I've liked her ever since she showed up. I was like, oh, she's feisty. I pictured her as little, but I know she's older. I know she's like 18 or something.
Yeah, I think.
But in my mind, I'm like, she's 13. She's 12.
I think she's just petite, though.
Yeah, she's petite.
They, like, mentioned that.
But she's older. Yeah. So I like her with her limp.
Well, because she was locked up for a long time.
Yeah.
So she
over compensates for that. But yeah, I like her a lot.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where she's going to go.
And this is the book that we're actually introduced to her because she's in Morath with...
Yeah, so this is where we meet her, and then at the end, when they let her go or whatever, and she has to go find Selena, but also find her queen, but she doesn't realize it's the same person.
Yeah, and like... Nobody mentioned this to her, but like,
well, I don't think Manon doesn't know.
No, but that's what occurred to me is like Manon didn't actually know that
they're the same person. I like Aline.
Aline.
Is she gonna fall in love with Lorcan or Lorcan? What's his name?
It's worse than that.
Oh. Well, I feel like Lysandra. I love that Lysandra's been. Oh no, that's in the new book that they said that she's been picking on Aedion on their traveling.
Oh,
or maybe it's in the old book. I can't remember which book it's in.
Well, they do it for 3 weeks, but she spent the entire time like
shifting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that. And then she's like picking on him, turning into like a bug and like buzzing around him and then flying off. And I'm like, do you like pick on him? Because he's kind of, I like him. I really like
Aedion?
Yeah.
So we know from Queen of Shadows that he has a Fae father, which will put the whole lifespan thing into question for him.
Well, her too, right?
In the future. So Aelin,
is she
like
immortal? Because you know Rowan's immortal. Like
we don't know yet.
We don't know about her or Aedion.
No.
We don't know if they're immortal or not.
Yet. So because like magic was gone for so long, because like they like were never able to like come into really. Like,
but Aedion always knew he was part Fae, right?
No, he never knew who his father was.
And that's right. He learns.
His mom was.
He learns it's one of the princes that Rowan knows, right?
Yeah, it's Gabriel.
Yeah.
Gabriel. Whatever.
Yeah. So then that's when he learns. But he always knew he was different because he could sniff and smell things and know things.
But again, you know, he hasn't really met any Fae, so like
he didn't know what he was.
He just thinks he's like superior.
That's right. Because they didn't have magic.
Yeah. For years and years.
And then she, over here, is in her fae form, living her best life.
Aelin, yeah.
Yeah. So he doesn't have a fae, or we don't know. He does. We don't know. He doesn't know what he can do.
We don't know.
We don't know what he can do yet.
We don't know.
I need to know what he can do.
So Caltaine,
like, just total
fucked everything.
I love her. Like, from where she was in Assassin's Blade,
her.
I hated her. But like, her story was like, I was like,
Caltaine.
Yeah. Because from
Throne of Glass.
So from that to that, like, it made her relevant again. Because you kind of were just like,
like, what happened to this woman?
Yeah, and then boom. Yeah. Literally boom.
Yeah.
And then she just destroyed everything. I'm ready to see what's gonna happen with Manon and them, because she's over here saying how she didn't like the yellow legs, all that stuff, and then once she says something about it, the next day it just goes. So I'm like, are they gonna blame her and say that she had something to do with it? You know what I mean?
Oh, with the
explosion.
No, I mean, first of all, the Shadowfire.
Because it's kind of sus that, like, all of a sudden everything went to shit right when you started poking your nose around.
No,
because I'm waiting for her grandma, her matron, to come out. Oh my god, her second in command. I'm like starting to remember everything. Her second command story with the baby.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. I'm starting to remember everything. That's why I'm like, oh,
yeah, no, like the grandmother, the matron of the Black Beast is.
I don't know who I like, who I dislike more, her or
Chaol.
Hate
everyone.
Well, Chaol's a butthead, but then she's rude too.
So Chaol's at least on the right side of history. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Like he wants to fight against the Volg army and everything, but I guess in terms of like general dislike.
Yeah. Him, her.
I just like
Duke,
his
who is really
mean.
I don't even know. It was
Duke Parrington.
He's really
Erewhon.
Yeah, he's really that. Did you know that? Did you see that coming?
So,
I did not.
Okay, so I think we talked about this, and I don't remember if I actually put it in the last video or we edited it out, but when we were talking about like the different characters, when you first started reading Throne of Glass, you were saying like Duke Parrington this, Duke Parrington that, and I completely forgot about Duke Parrington because I just remembered him as Erewhon. Name-wise, I was just like, who the hell is Duke Parrington?
Yeah.
So then I actually, like, when I was reading back through it, I was like, that's right. Duke Parrington was the guy that, like, got...
That was the body he was using.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. He was the human... One of the main points in Queen of Shadows, the reason why Aelin came back to Rifthold was to settle some debts. Specifically with Erebin.
Oh, okay. His death was anticlimactic.
Okay, so I would
anticlimactic.
I would agree that his death was pretty anticlimactic, just because like he just got that was.
But it wasn't even like we were there. The lead was good, but we weren't even there for it. We weren't there. We were there for like 2 pages. I wanted him to be okay. Like I wanted.
Here's
like Littlefinger in Game of Thrones, where it was just like bam, because like Sam got tortured. Why couldn't he get tortured?
But he got tortured off screen. We saw they went into a little bit of description of how his body was, but like he didn't die a painful death on page.
No, well, yeah, I needed him to have a painful death.
Erebin.
Yeah,
as revenge for what happened to Sam.
Everything he did. No, just everything he did to her too. Like he did so much to her. I was just like rude,
very controlling.
Yeah, I did like that. I do like that Lysandra, whatever her name is. I didn't like that she did it. Like she was the one that got to do it, but at the same time, like it makes sense.
Yeah,
it was just easier that way. Because I think he would have saw it coming if Aelin would have did it.
Yeah, and also the way it was set up was better for
to cover it up.
Yeah, because like she stood on top of the rooftop because she was being followed by the other assassins to be visible the entire night.
Yeah,
so that she couldn't be in 2 places at one time. It basically proved her innocence by having Lysandra do it.
Yeah.
So I think that was actually more of a smart move. Now, for me, when I read the book the first time, I didn't pick up all the breadcrumbs that she was doing leading up to his death.
I didn't pick up either of them.
And I was also like shocked, surprised, threw the book across the room whenever he put the ring on her, because I actually thought at the time that he was... I
thought it was fake because I was like, there's no way she's that stupid. But it was like nervous, like, oh, she's dumb. Like, how could she be so stupid? And then I was like, okay, she wasn't that stupid.
Yeah.
Because I was like, she's so quick-witted. Like, she had to have known
what his plans were.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, maybe she's not so dumb. I was like, okay, she's not that dumb. I do like that she cut his head off, though.
Yeah,
like,
so
as
like
to make sure. That's the first thing she did.
Like, I'm not messing
and
around
Rowan
with
and
this.
Aiden were just like, she's like, I just had to make sure, guys. Like, like those little,
we
like,
aren't leaving this up to chance.
Like those little moments where they're like just like normal teenager. Because you have to remember, she's like what, 19?
She's 20 at this point.
No, yeah, she's still
19,
a child.
20,
yeah. She's not a child, but she still has like that little bit of immaturity. She's like, hey, like, you know, kind of moment, and I like those.
Yeah, I thought it was like really creepy that like this person who took care of her, watched her grow up, was also like, you've grown into a woman. Like, he was being
gross.
He
was like total like
definitely needed to have his head chopped off.
Yeah, and to make sure. Yeah, I really did like that. I liked that. I mean, like I said, I wish it would have been more like his death. You know, it was kind of like,
you wanted like more of like a fight.
I don't know. It just wasn't satisfying. Like, I don't know how to say it.
Just having
kind of like not to get off topic, like, you know, like in Game of Thrones and when Cersei died, and you were just like, really, you know, it wasn't like you did so much wrong, and this is like, gotcha. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I needed him to just be like, I needed Fleetfoot to like just rip his head off,
you
or
needed
like
a little bit more torture leading up.
Or just more dramaticness, I guess. Because I mean, it was kind of like
he was just asleep.
He was asleep. She slit his throat. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I needed something. I wanted her to like poison him and him like choke on his blood or something. You know,
to go full Joffrey.
Yeah, something.
That was a satisfying end.
Yeah. Anyways. It just needed something more. But I am glad it's like he's gone. Like that chapter for life is.
Yeah, I feel like it was
over.
Necessary. I feel like that was necessary. It's like, I think I know you're very attached to Sam. So it was like whenever she went and she made peace with his passing, she found his grave, she said goodbye. And then her killing Orban, I really feel like that was like her closing the book, killing off Selena Sardovian. And then like that chapter is closed. She is now the Queen of Terrasen.
Yeah, because for a moment, like I had said, I didn't see her selling the Assassin's Keep. I thought she was gonna like keep it and that be like her people's headquarters instead of being in that warehouse. But then I thought about it and I was like, no, she needed to get rid of it because one, she needed the money. Two, she probably didn't want to be there because of all the bad, everything that happened there. And then it'd probably be obvious that she was in there.
But it's also not in her territory. Like, this isn't Terrasen. This is Alderaan. So that's not. You don't want a home there.
Well, I figured she'd use it until she left. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's probably more protected than. I didn't think that she was going to
stay in Rifthold. I didn't think she was going to stay in Rifthold just because it's where she grew up. It's not her home. She belongs in Ornth and she belongs in Terrasen.
Yeah.
She came there to finish some business, and then her job at this point, because in Hair of Fire she actually goes through the process of really coming into her own coming to terms with the fact that she is the Queen of Terrasen, that she is Aileen, and she has a lot riding on her shoulders. So she was going there to
kill everything off and get what she needed,
tie up some loose ends, and
that's it. Yeah.
And then I thought she was gonna leave. Like she came there to do a job.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I thought she was gonna leave, but because she stayed there for a while. I mean, she had to get Dorian.
Well, she also had her own home though, and but like you also knew that like she didn't want to stay in the Assassin's Keep whenever she moved out with Sam.
Oh, that's right. She did want to leave Sam.
And she didn't
want to leave Sam.
She didn't want to stay in that.
But that whole leading up to his death, not Sam's, but Oberyn's, like that was very intricate,
methodical. Yeah.
Yeah, like
very well done, very well written. I thought.
But just thinking of it from her point, well written, but from her point of view, like she had a lot of moving parts and she thought ahead, like this was a chess game. She was like 30 steps ahead of everybody.
I really thought it read like a heist, because like there's all these like little breadcrumbs, and I didn't pick up on any of these the first time I read it, like years ago. I
didn't pick up on the will thing, like when she was sneaking out and then Rowan's like, where are you going? And nobody knew where she was going. I was like, yeah, where is she going? And then when she went to the bank, kept going to the bank to talk about her own funds, but she was really going so she could map everything out and then see where the will was, make sure that the eye was in the deposit box, like that he hadn't given away and was lying.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, she is doing her homework and getting everything done.
Yeah, she's setting up.
Yeah, she's crazy. I love it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was very well done, and like going back and rereading it and seeing like knowing what the outcome is, and then going back and rereading it, like you actually pick up on all the information that's dropped.
She did, yeah.
That I just missed.
Yeah, because you were just thought it was filler or just just normal talking.
Yeah. Just part of the sequence of the books. I never like put everything together until the end.
Yeah.
Like the first time I read it.
I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like all the little puzzle pieces.
Yeah. I did like that she changed the will and I forget her name, Lysandra's madam, essentially.
Got nothing much. She got enough to where she can't fight it.
Yeah, like paid off his debts and then it was just
bye. Yeah. So you don't get anything else. Yeah.
So also at the end of Heir of Fire, Dorian's taken prisoner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he has the collar put on him, and every single one of his point of view chapters are very short because it's like him struggling
to get out. Yeah, I think one of the first chapters is him talking. I'm like, who is this talking?
Yeah,
and then you realize you're like, oh, poor thing.
Yeah,
he finally. I was kind of getting bored with him, but then he became interesting again. And
I remember you saying that, and I was like, no, he's
gonna get interested again.
He's a
but
character.
Yeah, I liked him. I can't stand Chaol.
Like nothing really ever stood out for me for Chaol, like other than him being like super loyal, and he was loyal to the wrong people.
Right.
And then it was really frustrating that in Heir of Fire, when he finds out, or sorry, at the end of Crown of Midnight, when he finds out who she is, his entire reaction to that is just being
like, how dare
mad.
You? Yeah.
Yeah, and like thinking that she's like some sort of interloper, and that okay, now I have to just protect Dorian, which is fine,
right? Because that's your bestie.
That's your job. But at the same time, it's like she was showing him who she was the entire time, and he just chose not to believe her. And I think in Heir of Fire, Dorian was the one who said that, like, you can't choose the parts of her to love, which is very valid. But then when they meet again, he doesn't want to work with her. He's just bitter. He's like, angry at the situation. He left the person that he swore he was going to protect.
Yeah.
And it's just like all of these things like add up to just like him being kind of a very annoying
person.
Character.
Yeah, he's very annoying, and you're just like, why? Like,
and then when I think experience also speaks to a lot of the things. Like, Aelin has actually fought the Volg. And understands the type of predator that they are.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever her intention is to kill Dorian, it's a mercy killing.
Mm-hmm.
Him choosing to not let that happen based on a tip from Orbin was very frustrating.
Yeah, because like you believed Orbin over her.
Well, it's not even that. It's just that like he wanted to save Dorian, which I understand.
Right.
But didn't want to understand what she was talking about whenever she said that like
he's gone. There.
Yeah.
And but then she even did. She was like, I'm going to give him a minute to show himself.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And she was going to kill him. But then it stopped.
Right.
Nesrin stopped it on Chaol because Chaol told her to.
And then
which also was like, you kind of like it because he was in there. She just didn't get to see him in that minute.
But then he decides in his own time that he's going to be the one to take out Dorian. And then whenever he does that, it's when they're out getting Lysandra, it's high stakes, and he just throws himself literally into a witch's den.
Yeah.
Not thinking.
Yeah, he goes rogue.
Gets everybody else in danger.
And, they all
almost gets other people killed. Yeah. Like Rowan got shot by an arrow because of Chaol's bad choices.
Well, then she's fighting with Manon. And then goes back to save Manon. Doesn't she go back to save her? Because she's like, somebody's tugging at me to save her.
Yeah.
Which ends up being when Manon leaves that note. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, no. So the person who actually ended up saving Dorian in the end was Manon. It wasn't Chaol.
No.
Chaol had no part in that.
No, it was Manon, like, letting her know, like, hey, witch killer, he's still there.
Frustrating.
And
I really, like, and his character was just antagonistic the entire time. It's like, Aileen, like, you guys are fighting on the same side. He's working with the resistance who's working, in theory, to bring back Aileen. Like, I don't understand his hatred the entire time. It made no sense to me.
Yeah, he's just...
His character arc was just very frustrating in Queen of Shadows.
I just don't like him. He's just like, ooh. Like, he picks and chooses when he wants to be loyal. He picks and chooses what parts to like about her. And it's like, if y'all two, if you would just work with her, everything would be so much easier.
Yeah. Like if
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he eventually, like, at first, like, he doesn't want to, like, he knows how to bring back magic. He doesn't want to tell her. He eventually gets to the point where he tells her.
Yeah.
It's like, but everything is just like this work and process for this person, and he just never, like, there's not a lot of redeeming qualities for him in this book. Even like, there's the one moment in the end, I guess, whenever he stands between the king and allows Aileen and Dorian, I guess, to fight it out and buy some time.
Yeah.
And he does that little bit, but
a little too late.
It feels too little too late.
And he's only doing it because Dorian was there. Like, if it was between him, he wouldn't have blocked the king from her. He was only blocking it because I think Dorian was there. Yeah, because he wants to be loyal to Dorian because whatever. And I'm just like, dude, like, no.
I don't like him.
Rowan and Adian going back and forth, like, throughout the whole book.
Over the blood oath?
Over everything. It's just hilarious.
Being, like, kind of territorial.
Yeah, at each other. I just loved it. But I love Adian, and I just love him. He's just there.
He's a really good character.
Yeah, he is. And he's like the general, the white wolf. Blah, blah, blah. He takes it very seriously.
I feel like he's also like a like he's basically like the opposite character from Chaol as far as like accepting her for who she is.
Yeah.
And you know, he's just really happy to be reunited with this person. And then she's really worried, given her past, and her telling him everything that she's been through, that he's going to judge her for that.
And he's just,
and that's like, one of her biggest fears. Exactly.
And he's just like, and I did some crap I didn't want to do either, but we're here.
Yeah, it's like they were doing what they had to do.
Survive. He doesn't judge her, whereas Chaol did, and Rowan doesn't judge her either, which is I love, and neither does Lysandra, because Lysandra knows what to do. She's of all people knows what has to, you do what you have to do to survive.
Yeah. I mean, Rowan too is also a survivor. He's never, he took the blood oath. He's been through some shit. It's just like, I feel like in that like little group, like her court,
she has a strong court.
Yeah.
Like, not to be like, I am a little biased,
family in her circle,
but not to be biased or anything. But she does, because she has Rowan, which is pretty much her right hand man, and then her general, which would be Adian, because I mean, everybody still calls him general, so I'm sure she's okay with that. And then Lysandra, I don't know exactly what she is besides the lady of whatever little land that she gave her, but that's like her bestie.
And she's a shifter.
Yeah. I didn't see that coming. Did you see that coming?
No.
I didn't see that at all, her being a shifter. But every time I see Rowan's like, I can't understand that smell. I'm like, all right, somebody's something they're not supposed to be.
No, like, I just like how blunt he is, though, because he's like, you know who your dad is?
Yeah.
I do. You're a shifter. And everybody's just like, what?
Yeah. He's like, what? But I love how Adian's like, I always thought, like, she did smell different. I just thought it's because, she's attractive or whatever. He said something smart. Because he picks up on the smells too, but he just doesn't, he's not as finesse with it as Rowan is.
He's also not as old.
Yeah, I would say Rowan knows. He smelt a lot of things, I guess you could say.
Well, he's also been around. He's been around magic. Like, Adian hasn't had all that experience. And he's also like in his 20s.
And I want to know if Adian's going to have magic. Hundreds. Is he going to have magic?
So that's not something we know yet. So we know that, like, we know his father's Fae. And then his mother isn't, so that's one of those things that we have to figure out as he grows. Like, he has to,
both of them, because I mean, we know what her power is, but we don't know, like, are they gonna live long like Rowan, or are they gonna live long like humans? How are they gonna age? Oh, Dorian and Manon, love.
Oh, okay.
I love them. Like, they only speak for like a half a page, like each time.
I think they had like 3 sentences back and forth to each
other. But there's a lot of like.
No, there's a lot of chemistry. It's like immediately.
Yeah. I think my favorite part is when it's like at the end and he doesn't have the collar on. He's like, I just need some air. And he walks out into the balcony to get the fresh air, and he could see her flying with the dragon, and she's like perched up on that ice wall that's there.
Glass.
Yeah, on the glass. Yeah. And she's just looking at him, and he's looking at her, and he's just like, hey.
Yeah, she wanted to
see. And then she takes it was okay. Yeah. And I was like, why? Why do you want to know he's okay, Manon?
Here's the thing. Dorian and Manon, I love them. They're my second favorite couple.
Who's your first favorite couple?
I'm not going to tell you.
It's got to be Rowan and Aileen. I want Lysandra and Adian to be a couple.
I'm not gonna tell
If
you
Lysandra
who my number one is. You have to finish reading the books, but I
I'm
think you'll
doing
get
the
it.
tandem right now.
I think you'll get it once you get to where, and then you can rank them too. But so for your ships, it's Dorian and Manon. You
Right,
want
as of where it stands right now, who's like in a ship like relationship. I mean, the only people that are really in a relationship are not none of them are really in a relationship because they're all just like each other.
well by the end,
There's gonna be some other.
Rowan and Aileen are like trying, like they kiss. There's
They
a
kiss, but he's like, "Don't touch me like that anymore."
no, but that's after Arabin dies.
Yeah.
And he has a moment, but after before they actually go
Yeah,
and
they
like
do
fight,
make out.
they
And
have a
he's
kiss.
promising to do her, but just at the right time. And I'm like, you do her. But you have to wait because and then it's gonna be all fade to black. And I'm just like, no. Gotta go back to the smut book.
Put that in between.
But so like I really want Lysandra and Adian to be a couple. I think that'd be the cutest one couple. Like they're my number one couple if they become a couple.
Really?
And then I love Manon and Dorian though, but I'm interested in how that's gonna work because like witch and like king, like does she become queen? Like that's weird.
So a good way to.
And then how is Chaol gonna deal with it? Because Chaol don't like nothing. And what is he gonna do? He's paralyzed, like from the waist down.
He's the hand of the king.
I hope Nesrin and him don't hook up. I mean, I think they already hooked up. I don't want them to become a couple because she could do better.
I agree.
Because he doesn't. He's
better.
using her just because she's there. I think. Like, put aside my distaste for the man. He's really just using her just because she's there.
I think she likes him.
Yeah, she adores him
more than he likes her.
And he's just like, she adores me. I need to get some. And she's just there because he is now. We looked this up. He is now the hand of the king, and she's the temporary Queen's Guard.
King's Guard.
Oh, King's Guard, but she's the girl, and that's never happened before.
It's very, very modern.
I love it.
Dorian.
Well, Dorian. I do love.
Dorian's the best.
He is.
I love him.
He was getting kind of boring.
No. So you think Rowan and Aileen are endgame?
They have to be.
Even though he already had a mate and you only get one.
I don't think he had a mate. I think there has to be something. Either you can have more than one mate. He was tricked into thinking that was his mate.
You get one.
Or that just wasn't it. And how come did she get a mate? Because she's Fae. Is the mating a Fae thing?
Mating is a Fae thing.
Because she even says when goes to 7th grade, she's like, maybe you were my mate and I just didn't know. So I'm like, was Sam her mate or is she still looking for a mate? And if she's still looking for a mate and it's not Rowan.
So that's one of the things.
Rowan.
I know this is your first experience with Sarah J. Maas, but she is known for switching up the love interests.
No.
Often and painfully.
If Aelin doesn't, I think I'm looking at the list of names. I think Aelin and Rowan are going to end up being together. I have to. No, they don't have to because it'd be too neat of a bow. Like, you represent too neat of a bow. I do feel like one of our main characters is going to die. Maybe not Aelin, but maybe like Lysandra or Adian or Doran or Manon. Somebody that we love
very much
is going to die.
That would suck.
I feel like it because Sam died.
Yeah, I mean, and
I didn't see, like, you obviously knew he was going to die because you read the books.
Yeah.
When I was reading Assassin Blade, I didn't know anything. So when he died, I was just like, oh my God. So I feel like I'm kind of like have that in, like, even if it's like Manon's like
Manon
number 2 or number 3, because I really do like them too.
Yeah, the 13.
I feel like somebody from the 13, like they might be a 12, like by the end of the book. Somebody else, somebody has to, like, it's too neat, right? Not neat, but it is kind of neat. Like everybody's doing their thing and everything's happy. Not happy, but everything's going the way it should go. Something's gonna happen. Somebody's dying or somebody's getting hurt or injured or something's not gonna go their way. Even like Nesrin's dad, maybe he dies. Like something. Their side hasn't taken a major blow aside from Chaol being injured. But like the other side, like I always feel like when they do these books and there's a war, like Morath just blew up. We'll get to that. So like, what's gonna happen on this side? Something catastrophic, because they can't just be winning the whole time, because then then in the end they're gonna win. Like, the other side has to get ahead, I guess. Something has to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's going on in Morath? What do you think?
So they blew everything up. Well, Kaltain blew everything
used
up.
her shadow fire, brought down.
But I don't understand is how she was able to overcome who we now know is Erewhon's power. Like, did she take the ring off, the collar off?
So I think that's.
Or did the shadow fire just overtake the stuff?
Yeah. So I think that's like one of the themes in the book is that fire is how you drive out
evil.
Evil and for Erewhon's evil and everything. So it's like Aileen's fire. And that's one of the things the king of Alderaan is telling her is like whenever he was like attacking her, she thought whenever she was 8, it was to get him to burn the demon out of him.
Yeah.
Whenever they were visiting Ornth, and then her shadow fire was how she was able to resist, all of the evil doings that Duke Parrington / Erewhon was doing.
She just did it,
and she was able to like basically she just became a shell of a person, had to pretend to be a puppet in order to survive until she was ready to take it down.
To let go.
And there was I guess it was kind of like a
big old fu to all of it.
That, but it was also, I think part of it was like to she was trying to save, I think, Alid whenever she saw her being taken.
Oh yeah.
And it was kind of like, it almost felt like it was kind of like an like a moment where she like saw her also being
herself,
in a position where she could help somebody when she couldn't help herself. So the witches.
I like the witches, but I don't like the witches.
So I thought it was a really like an aha moment for Manon whenever her mother, the matron of the Black Beaks, grandmother, sorry, of the Black Beaks, did not care that the Yellowlegs were being implanted.
Yeah, because
forced birthing,
first bred. Yeah.
Ugh.
Like my thing is because they're supposed to hold their witchling so sacred.
Yes.
And she was just like,
clearly didn't. Like first with Asterin, like her second. And then with like what was happening to the Yellowlegs, like
so the Yellowlegs first, and then we learn Asterin and her third. Well, now who was now her second? Asterin was the third.
Mm-hmm.
They take Manon off to this area and tell her everything that happened because the girl who is now her, what's the other girl's name? That's now her second. That witch knew what happened to Asterin because they're the ones that helped bring her back to whatever. And they kept that from Manon, and then they told her, and she was just like, "Good to know, like facts, and I'm going to deal with it." Yeah. It's just crazy. Like that whole witches are. I could read a book about the witches
for sure.
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
if she
I
was
really liked Manon's entire character arc throughout Queen of Shadows. Like one of the reasons why she's my favorite character.
She is one of my favorites. Yeah.
She's like just phenomenal arc because like I feel like even like whenever we were first introduced to her, like Manon wasn't a very interesting character, but like as like with the Wyverns and everything
that's when she got interesting when she got with that whole
like when
thing.
She just wasn't like a cruel villain, like she starts to become a little bit more human or whatever.
That's when I really liked her when she got Abraxas and started really dealing with that's when I liked her. But I really started liking her when she would stand up to the grandmother and stuff. I liked that. And then, of course, when she met Dorian for the first time. Oh, the matron. What is that? So the weapon is mirrors?
Yeah, so the mirrors. So I don't know if when
they meet in that field or whatever, she's got the weapon.
Right, so she has the mirrors, but Baba Yellowlegs also had the mirrors in her traveling...
Oh, yeah, the one that Aelin killed.
Yeah, so she killed him because like Dorian was apparently maybe telling her secrets, and she had to keep Dorian's secrets, so she killed him. But the mirrors, that's where we first see them. That is the secret weapon, but the point of those is basically to amplify power, and I think they also can bring things in
through. Yeah, that's what I figured.
So it's definitely.
But I want to know why I guess the matron is just evil.
Yeah.
For her to be in cahoots with Erewhon. Does she know that's Erewhon? Well, she knows now. I know she knows Erewhon.
You know, their end game of trying to get back to like their homelands and everything. It's just the wastes.
It's not gonna happen. I don't see them. Even if
yeah.
Manon and them stayed with Erewhon, he's not gonna give them their land back.
No,
he's just gonna destroy.
That might be your territory, but it isn't your land. You know, it's just the motivations. If that's what's motivating her, besides just being like a psychopath.
Yeah. And what's Lorcan?
Lorcan is a hard ass. I really enjoyed him.
I like him, but at the same time, like,
he's like the worst.
Yeah, but he's the worst in a good way.
I really liked every single time that Aileen got a chance to outsmart him. Like this, that was one of my favorite parts. It's like every single time Aileen got a chance to outsmart Lorcan was just hilarious. Like,
when she let him to the nest, that was amazing.
And then he was pissed and like threw up against the wall, and then
that was so good
with the amulet again.
Like, when is he gonna realize that's fake? Like, when? Like, oh, I can't wait till he's gonna be like this.
He's gonna have a moment.
And when is she just gonna be like, hee hee?
But his motivations for being there are so bizarre. Like, he's doing it against Maeve's wishes for Maeve. Like, he's
because his blood oath is to Maeve, which is what Rowan's blood oath to, but then that went away.
Yes.
So his blood oath is to what? Protect her?
Yes.
And but she wants the keys. And he's like, no, I'm going to get the keys and destroy them.
Or hide them.
Or hide them from her, because that's what's really going to save her. So
it's a weird dynamic.
And I'm waiting for Maeve to be a more power player, because, like, she's kind of there, but she hasn't really made a move. Like, whose side are you on? Who or what are you doing? How powerful are you? Like, I'm waiting for that. Like, I feel like that's going to be, like, coming up soon.
Maybe.
And then, like, these ward gates, are they opening up more portals to go places?
They can. We know that they have that capability.
So where are they going? What are they going to do?
Have you been paying attention to, like, all the hints about the word gates and, like, the different...
I pay attention to some of them, but then I'm like,
It's kind of like a thing.
I know, it's different.
I think I have it in my notes somewhere, so if you're ever interested, like, on Goodreads, it's one of my highlighted notes. It's either in Throne of Glass or Crown of Midnight. I think it's Throne of Glass, when Aileen is talking about the different worlds and how they can be stacked on top of each other, and like there's some myth and lore about, like, how, you know, when this world was created, it was created from somewhere else, and and like that kind of thing. So it's interesting to go back and read these, knowing what
you know.
I know now.
But I need to know what you know, so I gotta read.
You gotta know what I know so that you can read the things that I read.
I'm gonna wrap this up by saying I'm starting to tandem read, and it is way too much.
It is just enough.
But it took me forever to start it, and now I'm scared to start it, because, like, I feel like I'm gonna be committed, and, like, because I'm someone, when I start the book, like, I can't put it down, and this is starting 2 books. Like, I'm gonna go home and finish. Like, I'm probably gonna start reading.
I really, like, I can't decide.
Do the tandem read with me.
I'm trying. Like I told you, I need to read up. So I'm on chapter 15 of Empire of Storms. I will read up through, based on the thing you sent me, I will read up through chapter 12. I
gotta send you the back.
Of Tower of Dawn, and then I will be caught up on the tandem read, and then I'll do it right.
Yeah.
And then
because you didn't do the tandem read when it first came out, because they didn't come out as a tandem read. Whoever thought of that tandem read,
genius.
Smart. I wonder who thought of that.
Genius, absolute genius.
Yeah, because it makes sense. No, so I'm starting the tandem read. I'm ready.
Yeah, so we're doing the tandem read of Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn next, and that'll be our next video. So the next video, we'll talk about both books.
Until then, if you need to read something, read Ice Planet Barbarians. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
It's a good time, man.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
If you want updates, I'm going to try to do updates on my TikTok of me reading the tandem read. Just like, this is where I am.
So this has been Bestie Book Chat. Thank you so much for joining us. If you made it this far in the video, please leave a crown in the comments.
Yes.
Our next Bestie Book Chat is going to be for Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn, since we're doing the tandem read. And please join us for that. Thank you guys so much again.
Subscribe, like us.
Share.
Follow us.
Please
share.
remember.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.